Good morning, dear Dharma friends. Thanks for getting up early to come practice. Tuesday, the 20th of October of 2020.
You have no camera.
Damn, there's a lot of little buttons. There. How about that?
There you go.
It's good to have a lot of people tracking one. Yeah, Jennifer has said on several occasions, Robert, you must look in the mirror before you leave in the morning. So, hi. What a treat. Another morning. I had hot running water again this morning. I'm so spoiled with my hot running water that I adjust it at least 2 times while I'm in. It's just a little too hot, a little too cold. What a privilege. And so let's begin with gratitude. I also had coffee this morning. Pete's coffee, the kind I like. I have clean clothes. Breathing is happening. What privilege. Gratitude. I'm Robert Beatty. I'm coming to you from Portland, Oregon. This is a broadcast of PIMC, the Portland Insight Meditation Community. We've been going a long time. We have a beautiful building, and I came to Zoom immediately when we closed down the center, and all of the other teachers are online now too, so please help yourself to the wonderful riches of Dharma from the center. I have a little reading this morning, as usual. This is from the canon, the collected teachings of the Buddha, from the Anguttara Nikaya. It's actually Anguttara Nikaya 188 to 93. When I first heard this in India back in 1971, it was part of what hooked me to do my practice, to become enamored of these teachings, because basically it said, you don't have to believe anything, but you do have to carry out the experiment to see if in fact the teachings work. And this is called the Buddha to the Kalamas. The language is a little strange in translation. One time, the Buddha was walking on tour with a large group of monks when he came to a town of the Kalamas called Kesaputta. The Kalamas of Kesaputta thought, "It is very good indeed to see arahats, fully awakened beings, such as these," and so they went up to where the Buddha was. Having seated themselves to one side, the Kalamas of Kesaputta said this to the Buddha: "There are, sir, many different teachers that come to Kesaputta. They illustrate and illuminate their own doctrines, but the doctrines of others they put down, revile, disparage, and cripple." Literally translated as deprive of wings. "For us, sir, uncertainty arises and doubts arise concerning them. Who indeed of these venerable teachers speaks truly, who speaks falsely? It is indeed fitting, Kalamas, to be uncertain. It is fitting to doubt. For in situations of uncertainty, doubts certainly arise. You should decide, Kalamas, not by what you have heard, not by following convention, not by assuming it is so, not by relying on the texts, not because of reasoning, not because of logic, not by thinking about explanations, not by acquiescing to the views that you prefer, not because it appears likely, and certainly not out of respect for a teacher. Now that's quite a paragraph, don't you think? When you would know, Kalamas, for yourselves that these things are unhealthy, these things, when entered upon and undertaken, incline towards harm and suffering, then, Kalamas, you should reject them. What do you think, Kalamas? When greed, hatred, and delusion arise within a person, does it arise for their welfare or their harm? For their harm, sir. And when a person has become greedy, hateful, or deluded, their mind consumed by this greed, hatred, and delusion, Kalamas, do they kill living creatures and take what has not been given, and go to another spouse, and speak what is false, and induce others to undertake what is for a long time to their harm and suffering? This is true, sir. And what do you think, Kalamas? Are these things healthy or unhealthy? Unhealthy, sir. And when entered upon and undertaken, do they incline towards suffering and harm, or don't they? We agree, sir, that they do. But when you would know, Kalamas, for yourselves, that these things are healthy, these things are skillful, these things, when entered upon and undertaken, incline towards welfare and happiness, then, Kalamas, having come to them, you should stay with them. What do you think, Kalamas? When non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion arise within a person, does it arise for their welfare or their harm? For their welfare, sir. And when a person has not become greedy, hateful, or deluded, their mind not consumed by this greed, hatred, and delusion, Kalamas, do they not kill living creatures, and not take what has not been freely given, and not go to another's spouse, and not speak what is false, and induce others to undertake what is for a long time, to their welfare and happiness? This is true, sir. And what do you think, Kalamas? Are these things healthy or unhealthy? Healthy, sir. And when entered upon and undertaken, do they incline towards welfare and happiness, or don't they? We agree, sir, that they do. That person, Kalamas, who is a follower of the noble path, is thus free of wanting, free of harming, and without confusion. Clearly conscious and mindful, he or she or they abide, having suffused the first direction, then the second and the third direction, and the fourth, and so above, below, and across, everywhere and in every way, with a mind dedicated to loving kindness, compassion, goodwill, and equanimity, that is abundant, expansive, immeasurable, kind, and free of harming. And so, Kalamas, the follower of the noble path, whose mind is thus kindly and free of harming, their mind is not defiled, but is purified. Do greed, hatred, and ignorance conduce toward happiness or unhappiness? Do non-greed, non-hatred, and non-ignorance, love, compassion, wakefulness, conduce toward happiness or unhappiness? The experiment is up to us. We can believe stuff, but believing is not knowing. And so we practice. We practiced. We get up early, we gather together, we remind ourselves of the possibility of being grateful. Take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Take refuge in being awake, being aware, being mindful. Refuge in the Dharma and the way things actually are. And in the elegant, beautiful teachings of the Buddha. It's 40-some years now that I've been swimming in the Buddha's teachings. They make more and more sense. Sometimes I think to myself, I'm starting to get this. It's really working. And we practice together and in the community of all life. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya. How will I know if what I am thinking, speaking, and acting conduces to my happiness and well-being? How will I know if it conduces to the happiness and well-being of my loved ones? How will I know if it conduces to the happiness of all beings? By observing. By carrying out the experiment. By developing mindfulness, concentration. So let's go to the gym, the weight room, and do our training, our practice in mindfulness. Let us drop into the body. More accurately, let us acknowledge the radical aliveness which is the body. Contact, pressure, where the body meets the chair or the floor, the cushion. Contact where the clothing touches the body. And the body breathes. Let us awaken right here in this breath. Each breath has a beginning. It has a middle and it has an ending. Of course, the human package comes with a mind that thinks, that plans, that worries. That can be very spacious and very contracted. Can be very quiet and at rest, or very restless. It can be relatively free of desire, or it can be overrun with desire. Our task is to become the ultimate naturalists. to observe the mind and the body, the human experience, with the least possible intrusion. So it's possible to be attentive to breathing, to awaken to the wandering mind, to the worrying mind, the planning mind, the mind that would like to control the world through thinking. The universe exists in polarities, matter and antimatter, day and night, pleasure, pain, awake and not awake, mindful and not mindful, concentrated and not concentrated. And so in a certain way, we are always beginning again. The self idea would like to get the whole thing under control. But then when we observe closely, there's mindfulness, presence, and then it dissolves. And then we start again. Oh yes, mindfulness. Breathing in, breathing out. Wandering mind. Inclining ourselves toward awakeness and presence.